All right, boys, we are back once again in our NHL 24 Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. If you missed out on the last one, we made history with this New York Jets franchise, making it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals before falling to the New York Rangers in 5 games. It was a very disappointing episode, but on the bright side, we made it the furthest we have in our team's history and in this series' history as well. Those New York Rangers, man, they were just such a good team. Never going to 7 games, beating the Caps in 6, the Hurricanes in 6, the Penguins in 5, and then us in 5. It really, really was an amazing team that they had. Looking at some player stats from the series or from the playoff run, because I forgot to do this because I was just in absolute shambles at the end of the episode. But David Perron led the team with 20 points. Unfortunately, I do not think he is going to be coming back, but he had a great playoff run with us. Cole Perfetti leading the way amongst the people returning with 19 points in 21 games. Kyle Connor with 18. Mark Scheifele with 17. Kyle Connor going to need to get a contract this episode as well. Scheifele with 17. Zach Werenski, the trade deadline acquisition, had 14 points in 21 games, so pretty good stuff there. Ehlers only 13. Morrissey with 13, Besser with 13 as well, listed as an 84 overall now, despite being on that second line and having a very good season with a 61 points in 82 games is nothing to sneeze at, and he was a plus 22, the biggest plus of his entire career by far. So strange inner workings of the EA system right there. Boone Jenner 11 points plus 6, not bad. Gabriel Velarde, bit of a disappointment there, only 10 points. Esa Lindell 10 points plus 15 for Esa Lindell, but we have a little bit to talk about with him in the comments. Jonas Brodin 7 points plus 9, Adam Lowry 6 points, Ville Heinola 3 points, Artem Kniazev 3 points, Corey Perry 3 points. Corey Perry, pretty big disappointment as well. Chaz Lucius 1 point in 2 games, not bad. And then also Brad Lambert, I think, might have had a point there in the one game that he played. So that's what we're looking at. Look at the awards now, because I forgot to show them to you guys. So it is the New York Rangers winning the Stanley Cup. Obviously, they faced us in there. The Dallas Stars won the President's Trophy, but we faced the New York Rangers in that Stanley Cup final, and it did not go our way. Individual awards now. Ovi wins that Art Ross and the Hart Memorial. James Norris goes to Cale Makar for the second straight season. The Lady Byng also to Cale Makar. Calder Memorial goes to Aturatu. Conn Smythe to Artemi Panarin. We saw that firsthand. Vezina to Pyotr Kochetkov for the second straight year in a row. M. Jennings also to Kochetkov. Bill Masterton goes to Adam Pellick. Jack Adams to the same coach for 3 years in a row now. Webb has won the Jack Adams for 3 years in a row. Not sure if he's been on the Capitals that entire time, but still a great accomplishment there. Elias Lindholm, current Vancouver Canuck in the real world now, wins the Frank J. Selke over Ryan O'Reilly. Ted Lindsay goes to Ovechkin, and the Maurice Richard for the 3rd straight year is going to go to Ovechkin as well. He just simulates so dang good in this EA simulation. But now, with that incredible playoff run behind us, it is time to get to the entry draft. But before we do, we got to reload on the comments, reload our team, and see what everybody is feeling. So we have a comment from Doug who says, "What a run, sir. A tough end to a great season. You definitely deserved a better fate, but we are on to the next season." He then goes ahead and gives some suggestions for the draft and who we should take. He says he likes the low elite D-man with the pick that we have. So let's take a look at him if you guys were not able to look at it in the last one. There's a low elite defenseman going around 36 or so. We might trade down to pick this guy up. Low elite defensive defenseman, 2 years away. It's probably going to be a good player, maybe for us in the near future. Mats Dahl. So we're going to try to pick him up. Next, there is a goalie going in the second round who he likes. Maybe, I'm not sure exactly who he's talking about. This Keith Kanolachuk is 18 medium elite here, going at 42. But there's some other goalies later on who I would be just as fine to take a chance on, like, one of these guys, Mikael Helmerson, who I have pinned here because he's a gem. I would be just as okay going with him. He's 5 years away. Same with all these other guys, right? Yeah, all these goalies are 5 years away. Let me just make sure. Yeah, every single one of these goalies is 5 years away, so I'm okay with going with the guy who's supposed to go last. That way we give up the least amount of trade value because they're basically all the same. And then Doug also likes the low elite offensive defenseman who we can pair with the first round selection that we are taking in the draft. So this offensive defenseman right here going 116th, going to be 5 years away, but maybe could be a pair for him in the future if he makes it that far. Doug then says if their ratings are higher, they can go to the AHL. He thinks that low elites grow a little bit better in the AHL, but it is up to you. Perron was great, but I would find a younger replacement in free agency. I like Heinola too, plus Connor should be enough to replace the loss of Perron at 38. He's definitely going to drop where a younger player having a good season with Perfetti could grow. All the best, dude. Was a great episode and a great series so far. Can't wait for the next video. Getting closer every year. Let's get it next year. Much love as always. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Doug, and I appreciate your thoughts and contributions as always. Next up now, Alexander says, thank you for the episode, but damn, what a brutal and demoralizing one. Yes, it was a bit bittersweet there. We make it to the finals, but just to be absolutely destroyed by the Rangers, a tough way to go out. Doug has some great suggestions on the amateur scouting side, so here are some for the pro scouting side. All right, fair enough. You're going to be our pro scout here, Alex, real quick. So he makes 4 suggestions. He says, number 1, Jenner and Perron, we can let them go. Agreed. Maybe bring in a star winger that can be brought in via trade or free agency. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, but I will definitely look at those options. Number 2, an upgrade on Lindell in the top 4, preferably a right-handed defenseman in Seth Jones. So let's just go and take a look at our contracts and see what our defensive core looks like, because I do think we need a bit of an upgrade back here. So we have Morrissey, Werenski, and Brodin. Those 3 aren't going anywhere. But then Esa Lindell has dropped to an 83 overall here. So I gave him a 3-year, $5 million deal last year. I might have to see if anybody's willing to take that contract on and then use his $5 million to maybe get like an 85 overall, 86 overall in free agency to try to pick him up. Now, Alex does suggest Seth Jones, but Seth Jones is currently making $9.5 million. I don't know if we can take on another $9.5 million contract like we have with Zach Werenski here, so I'm going to look for a bit of a cheaper option in free agency, but definitely still an upgrade. Then he says maybe we can swap Scheifele and Perfetti in the lines to reflect the slow transition of the latter to the first line center and the passing of the torch, right? So currently we have Cole Perfetti and Mark Scheifele. Mark Scheifele as our first line center, Cole Perfetti as our second line center. But Perfetti has not really grown from an 86, so maybe it's time we bump him up to that first line and see if getting him more ice time can actually make him improve a little bit more, and maybe give him an X factor here one of these days, because we signed him to a $6 million deal for 8 years. We want to see a little bit more production out of him, so I definitely agree with that. And then the 4th suggestion is an upgrade on that bottom defensive pairing. Would help. And I agree there as well. So we'll see what we can do. Chaz Lucius is up to an 83 overall, which I didn't actually notice until right now. So very good stuff right there. And that's going to do it for the suggestions there. Now it is time we get into the draft. So I will take you guys alongside with me as I always do, showing you the picks and prospects that we decide to pick up or move or what have you. And let's just jump right into that draft and see who goes number 1 through 5 most likely, just to see what everybody's looking at. And Buffalo was willing to trade their selection. Okay, this has not happened yet so far in this series. Now, I do have kind of a rule when it comes to things like this. Usually, I will not trade for a pick if we're not, a rebuilding team or anything like that. And currently, we are not a rebuilding team whatsoever. Now, Buffalo, it says, is a buyer. They have, obviously, Thompson, Dahlin, Dylan Cousins, Tuck, Skinner. They have a very good team. Very strong team here in Buffalo for sure. Matthew Savoie only an 83 overall, despite being 22 at medium elites. Kind of interesting. But yes, they do have a good team here, and they're willing to trade that pick. Now, would I be willing to pick it up? Maybe, but would it really be that realistic for, like a team that just went to the Stanley Cup final to get the 2nd overall pick? Not really. It's never really happened. It doesn't happen very frequently at all. And do we have the trade value really to do it? Sure. If we want to give them Scheifele, that might go through, but I mean, they'd be over the cap. There's a bunch of shenanigans we have to go through. So usually I do not like trading up in drafts just because I find it a little bit unrealistic. You rarely, if ever, see a team go from the 30th, or which pick do we have? The 31st pick to the 2nd overall pick. It's pretty rare, so I usually tend to just pick with the one that I have or move up a couple of spots here, maybe even trade down a few spots, but rarely do I move up to the top 5 unless I'm in like 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. So those are basically my rules surrounding that. But that being said, let's find out who the Nashville Predators decide to take first overall, and it's going to be, oh my goodness, it is an 82 overall playmaker, Tommy Tiervinen. With X factors as well. 4-star puck skills, 3.5-star census, 4-star skating, 2.5-star physical, 3.5-star shooting. It looks like a very good player already. He's got skilled up as well, and all of his stats pretty base across the board, which is what I like to see as well. So that's a good first overall selection there. Who does Buffalo take, or do they trade their pick? No, they do not. Sam Kennedy goes a sniper, only 77 overall, but with 4-star shooting, not bad at all there, but maybe take a year before he hits the NHL. Then we have a left-wing medium elite grinder with truculence. Oh my goodness. I would love to see how a grinder grows in this game, man. I just think that would be so much fun. Toronto gets Gavin McKenna. I believe Gavin McKenna is Connor Bedard's cousin, but you know, correct me if I'm wrong if you guys wish. Medium elite playmaker here. He's got okay stats, but not like the generated prospects. Going 5th is now Rubrock. Ryan Rubrock, medium elite sniper with only 3-star shooting. See, this is a prospect that I would not like to get. You're a sniper with 2-star puck skills and 3-star shooting, and you're 77 overall as well. So your overall is high enough that you can have 3.5 to 4-star shooting, but with 76 slap shot accuracy and 88 power, I do not like that shooting category whatsoever. And now at number 6 is going to be, oh my goodness, okay, actually they do not pick the defenseman that I thought they were going to. They pick a left wing playmaker. Wow, that's a bad pick from the New York Islanders, and it means that the LA Kings here are going to be able to select, yes, a two-way defender, a right-handed defenseman, medium elite potential. So a big miss by the New York Islanders means that the LA Kings get a medium elite player in their pool. All right, guys, but enough with all of these selections. Let's just go to our pick at number 31. We can see who went before us. So a lot of medium top 6 guys here, 67 overall. Any guys in the high 70s or anything like that? I'll just take a quick look here and see. Right now, looking like just mid 60s, 74 overall here, Zajac. I think I took a look at him with you guys last episode. Right-handed defenseman, defensive defenseman, 74 overall, excuse me, not bad. 74 overall here as well. Hardigan goes to the Seattle Kraken, and everybody else is kind of mid 60s, kind of normal. So it looks like we're going to get a good pick here. You know, he's going to be 2 years away, but definitely with that low elite title, he can grow a little bit more. Now he is a defensive defenseman, so he won't get those offensive statistics as much, which helps growth. You know, so offensive defensemen usually grow a bit better than defensive ones, but either way, he's got the low elite potential. He's only 18 years old, 6'4", left-handed defenseman from the HV71 in the SHL, Matt Dahl. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets, my friend, and you are 68 overall. Not bad at all, almost 70 overall, actually. That is pretty good. 2.5-star defense is kind of meh. 2.5-star skating, I like. 2.5-star physical is good. And then everything else mostly 1-star. 2-star shooting, not a bad prospect whatsoever there. Defensive defenseman, I will gladly take that. Okay, guys, I'm looking to make a deal here with the LA Kings for the pick number 62. It's Edmonton's original pick, but the LA Kings have it. I'm going to give them my 95th pick, and Billy Gabo here, who we drafted in the first year in the 3rd round. He was a low top 6 prospect, but he never really panned out for us. What has he done in these last 3 years? You know, 28 points in 55 games, 16 points, 49, 5 points in 32. Hasn't been great, obviously. He's a playmaker as well, and it just doesn't look like he's growing too much. So I'd be willing to to propose this trade. Let's see what the Kings say, and they actually accept that. So we will gladly take that deal right there. And now we can simulate to our next selection, which is at pick number 62. Let's see what everybody gets here. Medium top 9 players, medium bottom 6. Yikes. Anybody else interesting here? Doesn't look too crazy. A lot of like medium top 9 forwards, medium top 6 defenseman type guys. Anybody insane? It doesn't. Medium elite goalie, but we knew about him obviously. And other than that, medium top 4, 66 overall is not bad. And other than that, nothing crazy. Who did the New York Rangers select? We always got to keep our eyes on the Rangers now. See any upcoming guys that might stifle us for the future. And Dundas might be a guy, medium top 6, 2.5-star shooting and all that jazz. But Let's go and make our selection now. And with it, we are going to reach a little bit here, but I really wanted to get this guy, a Swedish man, once again, from the SHL. He's got good leadership, work ethic, and maturity. He's about 5 years away, but in that time, Hellebuck might be dropping off, so I do like this selection. Mikael Helmersson, welcome to the Winnipeg Jets from the Farjestad BK in the SHL. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets organization, my friend, and you are a 57 overall medium elite. That's actually pretty good. I was expecting like 48 overall or something like that. 57, I can work with 57 overall. That is a pretty good pick. Our next pick is at 159, but if I go look at my suggestions from Doug here, I believe that he wanted us to pick up an offensive defenseman, low elite. So let's go and see if we can grab him. Alright guys, so I'm trying to do a little bit of two birds with one stone here. Esa Lindell, like Alexander said, it might be time to try to move him out and replace him in free agency. He had one season with us, and he was okay. 12 points minus 2 wasn't great, but in the postseason, man, that's where we're really going to miss him. 10 points plus 15 in the postseason. I only have 30 seconds, so I got to do this fast. We're going to give them a 5th round pick for a 3rd, so Esa Lindell and a 5th for a 3rd. Jeff Petry's in there for the money. He's making $4 million, and of course, Columbus makes their selection. Hang on, let me get back to that screen. All right, so here it is once again. Esa Lindell in the 5th for the 3rd round selection and the 4th round selection. Now, after that, Jeff Petry's just in there for the money. I'm not sure if this is going to go through, but I'd be willing to try it at least. I'm okay with this. Esa Lindell, obviously sad to see him go, but dropped an overall and didn't really do much for us in the regular season. He kind of hurt us a little bit, so let's see if they say yes to this, and they do accept it. They say it's a no-brainer as well, so wow, that's great for us, and I like that trade a lot. Now, at pick number 84, we are going to pick up somebody that snuck by the radar a little bit, I think. I didn't hear anybody talking about him in the comments, but Thomas Ekman-Larsson is a low elite two-way forward. 5 years away, sure, but got that low elite title, so he can grow if everything goes right with him. A two-way forward as well, right-handed, or sorry, right winger, left-handed, but on that two-way side, we are definitely a defensive team here, and so, again, also from this SHL, so our SHL scouts really were doing their thing out there, so Thomas Ekman-Larsson, welcome to the Winnipeg Jets organization from Rogla BK. Welcome very much, my friend, to the organization. 51 overall. That's what I was expecting for the goalie, to be honest, but a low elite player. He's got 1-star shooting, 1-star skating. Everything's going to be low because he can barely stick handle. Next pick is 107. And with that selection now that we just picked up for the Esa Lindell trade, we are going to flip Esa Lindell into a low elite prospect. 5 years away, so he might not ever make it, but an offensive defenseman of the future potentially. Peyton Hines from the USA Central. Welcome, my friend, to the Winnipeg Jets organization, and 57 overall. That's a pretty good overall. He had 27 points in 62 games last year. Let's hope that those numbers can continue to increase year after year. Peyton, welcome very much, my friend. And this has been an incredible draft. And with our last selection here, we are going to take from Russia. Oh my gosh, if this guy makes the show, I'm going to have to figure out how to say his name. But Vyacheslav Korolyuk. I don't know. But Vyacheslav, he's from Belarus, I believe that flag is, if I'm not mistaken. Showing my ignorance here, good lord. Right winger from the Russian league. Welcome very much, Vyacheslav Korolyuk. That's funny. 58 overall, low top 6 forward. Maybe he can grow, maybe he won't, but that does it for this. Oh, never mind. We still have one more pick in this draft, so let's simulate to that pick. And with this one, I don't really see any crazy potential type guys, so you know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna just get an absolute freak out here. Who weighs the most? 239, 6'5". Hang on, are there any like 6'9" giants or anything like that, eh? No. Okay, we'll go for weight, but these guys are all 20. Okay, so let's see if there's any taller guys who are smaller. Yeah, okay. Younger but taller. I like that. Now, do we go with the QMJHL Slovak? Is he from Slovakia? I'm not sure. 773. You know what? Jan Guljacic from the Gatineau Olympique. Welcome. He was in the QMJHL. And now he's going to be coming over to the Western Canada here to make an impact. There's Jan, low AHL top 259 overall. Not a bad overall, actually. Two-way defenseman as well. And he's got some good shot power. See, this is a weird, very weird prospect. 2.5-star skating, 84 discipline, 85 shot power, 85 durability, but everything else is like 50, 60. So strange. Very strange how EA decided to do that. But either way, that does it for this draft. And had a little bit of fun there at the end. So we end up getting a lot of Swedish talent in this one with Mats Dahl, Mikael Helmersson, Thomas Ekman Larsson, all Swedes. Then Peyton Hines, the American, and Voryaslav Koryuluk or whatever his name is, the Belarus, I think he's Belarus, and then Jan Wulicic, the Russian, I believe. So nice little draft there, you know. And now it is time to go to free agent, or excuse me, to the re-sign stage, where we don't really have too many guys to bring on. Obviously, Kyle Connor, the big one, but I'm not too worried about money with him. And Gabriel Velarde has decided to sign on. Thank you very much, Gabriel. All right, so here we are in our expiring contracts and things like that. We have $20 million to play with. And it looks like Kyle Connor is willing to take an 8-year deal for $11.775 million. Now, 8 years is kind of a lot. I'd be willing to do like 6 years. He turns 35. He starts dropping off a little bit. And then we can give him maybe a cheaper deal. Or maybe, yeah, I think like a 6-year deal for Kyle Connor, where he has kind of like is a little bit older. He might take a little bit more of a discount when he's older. 8 years brings him to like 37, maybe 38, depending on when his birthday is. And by then he might be like an 82 overall, making that much money. 2 years earlier than that, he might be like 86, 87 overall. So might ask for a little bit less. So I'm down with this. Let me see what 85% of that is. So 85% is about 10.008 mil. So I'm gonna say we'll try 10.25 mil for 6 years for Kyle Connor. See what he says to that. And then other than that, David Perron, what does he want? If he wants like 3 mil for David Perron, it's actually not bad for what he did. It's not bad whatsoever. I will come back to that because he was a GOAT for us in the playoffs, and he also had 60 points this year. So that's not bad at all. Boone Jenner, though, who wants like $8 million, yeah, that's not happening. So Boone Jenner, goodbye. But Perron, I am definitely going to look at for sure. Ville Heinola now wants, ooh, I should have signed him to that. Dang, I should have signed him to the extension where he only wanted 2 mil. So we'll qualify him for now, and we'll come back to him a little bit later. Jeff Petrie was only in that trade for money's sake, but he only wants 3 mil. It's not horrible. But I don't think we're going to be signing him. Rasmus Kupari, you want a 2-way deal, so I'll give you a 2-way deal for sure. 80 overall, getting a 2-way deal. I will take that. Corey Perry wants 1 mil for Corey Perry. I don't think so, Corey. But good luck in free agency, my friend. If we come back to you, we can come back to you if we want. 2-way deal here. So all these 2-way deals, I'll just get them signed on. And we also have to sign who is this? Kai Kupanen. Who is Kai Kopanen here, who was playing in the SHL, probably La Liga, and he had 1 point last year in 34 games. He's a low top 4 defenseman, never really panned out, but we can get him on the team and see if he grows over the offseason to like a 61, 62, something like that. Everybody else here is, all these guys with potential I'll sign on. This guy Zilkin, or however you say his name, he'll come on. No, I think it's Zilkin. Kuzmin will come on, obviously, and all these other guys down here. I won't make you guys watch all this. Now, Bonino was a guy that we signed, or that we picked up at the trade deadline. Unfortunately, didn't reignite that Pittsburgh Penguins magic that I thought we might have had a chance to, so I'm going to say bye to Nick Bonino as well here. Give some more time to some younger guys out there. Christian Vesalainen now wants a $1 million deal. Christian Vesalainen, such a highly touted prospect. He went 24th. He was listed as low elite, medium elite for many, many years in the EA franchise. Only ever grew to 79 overall. And at 79 overall, I'm not sure if you're going to make the cut, Christian. I'll keep you on board for now. But I'm more inclined to sign a guy like Fialbi, who wants a 2-way deal at less than $1 million for sure. And then Cole Lind, or Callan Lind, right? Not Cole. No, it is Cole Lind. Cole Lind also wants a deal. And Cole, I have no connections to you, so you can just get released instantly. You were just somebody I signed for the AHL team. And everybody else here, I'll sign all these guys on. Okay, and that does it for all that round. So let's see if Kyle Connor decides to sign his contract for 10.25 million, and then I'll see what I want to do with David Perron as well here. Jeff Petrie, I think, is probably safe to go. Let me just take a look at the defense here. So Morrissey, Warwinski, Brodin, Hinola, and Kniazev. It could be Hinola, Petrie, with Kniazev being the 7th guy, and then we bring somebody in free agency. That would not be a horrible plan, you know. Ooh, man. It's tempting, but Petrie... Is Petrie really able to go? He's 38. He might drop off. Yeah, no. I'm going to release Petrie. You can find somebody else in free agency who's fairly similar there. Okay. Goaltending. Do I have to sign anybody here? Yes, I do. I got to sign our AHL goalie, so I will do that. They both want two-way deal, so no problem. And obviously, we have Mikael Helmerson in here, who I don't think I'm going to sign to a deal quite yet. We're going to let him play in the SHL for his club. Same thing goes with the other unsigned prospects that we just picked up, guys like Mats Dahl. Who's Ackerman? Matthias Ackerman, 5th round selection, 61 overall. Not bad. But same thing goes with guys like Mats Dahl, Peyton Hines, and Thomas Ekman-Larsson. These guys are all just going to play in their respective divisions here. I didn't realize Peyton Hines was 20 years old. We might have to maybe use him in a trade because I don't think he's going to grow very much at 20 years old, man. I didn't see that actually. But either way, it's good to have the trade value on the team. So now let's take a look at what all these people say. We advance one day. Kyle Connor decides to reject that one. So 10.25 was not enough for Kyle Connor. Some other guys are rejecting as well, despite me giving them exactly what they want. So if these guys are going to make it difficult for me, you're just making my job a little bit easier there. Here, Fialbi, I'll give you the max two-way deal. How do you like that? Vesalainen, I didn't give a deal to, and then Kastelik, bro, you're just a center in the AHL. Here you go, take it. And okay, Kyle Connor now. Kyle Connor, 6-year deal, 10.5 mil this time. Let's see what he says to 10.5 mil. For Kyle Connor, that's not a bad price whatsoever. We know he can be a 50-goal scorer or something like that. And let me look at the rest of the forwards out here. So we're going to have Kyle Connor, Perfetti, and then maybe Ehlers. Second line could be Scheifele, Besser, Velarde, or we could do, if we have Perron, it could be Scheifele, Besser, Perron, and then Velarde, Lucius, Lowry, Kapari, and then some other 4th line guys out there with maybe Fialbi or something like that. So bringing back David Perron would not be horrible. Now, he might drop off for sure, and there might be better... I can always re-sign him in free agency. That's the thing. Yeah, so I'm going to release David Perron for now, but we might come back to him in free agency if I don't see anything else that I like, because we know that he can get it done with us on our 2nd line or our 3rd line. So David Perron, I'm going to release you, but don't take it the wrong way, my friend. I'm going to come back and take a look at you in free agency, all right? So no hard feelings there. Let's see. Kyle Connor, what do you say to 10.5? Okay, all these scouts gonna accept their contracts. Hang on. And Kyle Connor decides to reject once again. Okay. Mark Kastelik, easy decision. And Fialbi there does not sign his deal. Okay. So Kyle Connor rejects at 10.5. So let's go up to 10.75 then, Kyle. Or should I just go up to 11 mil? 11 mil is a lot, though. It leaves us with $10 million in free agency, though. So it's not bad, actually. I'm going to go 10.75. We'll see what he says. Going up to 250K each time. We'll see what he says to this. How many more days do I have left to negotiate, actually? Let's just make sure. I think I have like 4 more days. So I have today, and then I have 3 more days after this day. Okay. So let's see what Kyle Connor says to this one. What do you say, Kyle? Okay, more scouts. Hang on. It's so anticlimactic, man, whenever I do this. And... okay. And Kyle Connor still rejects. He wants to tempt that free agency, huh? Okay, Kyle, so you're going to get 11 mil now. 6 years, 11 mil. See, if I give him the years that he wanted, I wonder if he would take like 10.7. But 6 years, 11 mil for Kyle Connor. I don't think it's a bad deal whatsoever when Austin Matthews is getting 13.5. Not comparing Kyle Connor and Austin Matthews, but just saying there's a lot worse contracts out there. What do you say, Kyle, to $11 million? Oh my gosh, he still rejects the deal. Okay, now I only have 2 days left, right? So I really got to put my GM cap on here and figure out what to do with Kyle Connor. All right, Kyle, I'm going to go 6 years, 11.375 mil. If you say no to this, I'll give you what you want. and hopefully you'll sign on for that. But 3 years, or sorry, 6 years, 11.375. Kyle Connor, what do you say? Easy decision. That's right, Kyle. Thank goodness he decided to sign on to that. $11.375 million on the same type of years as Cole Perfetti out there. 1 year before both Scheifele and Ehlers' contract ends, and the core is locked up now. So that is nice to see. Now I'm just going to do make sure that all the expiring deals are here. Ville Heinola, I will come back to in free agency. He wants a little bit too much for my blood. And then all these guys, like Fialbi, why didn't you sign your deal, Fialbi? I gave you 1 year max. So I guess I'll give you a one-way, 1 year, 975. Will you take that? It's a one-way deal this time, but we'll see if he takes it. And then Christian Vesalainen. Do we want to bring Vesalainen in for a depth role? I wouldn't. I don't love it, to be honest, because he's a sniper, and he has no defense. He has bad shot blocking, bad stick checking, bad defensive awareness. Yeah, I don't like Christian Vesalainen coming into the team. So Vesalainen, unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to you. But it was a pleasure having you in the system. But you were going to have to say goodbye. And now it is time to hit free agency, boys. We will see what Fialbi says, and he decides that he doesn't want to come in. Fair enough. Fialbi, you want to go see greener pastures? That is fine by me. All right, so here we go into free agency now. Let's see what it has in store for us. And there is a certain Patrick Kane out here in free agency for $10.45 million, baby. And we can actually afford that if we want to. But there's also Jonathan Toews here. And other than that, did we get any defensemen? I was really holding out for some good defensemen. We have Jacob Trouba. Jacob Trouba would be an upgrade to our defensive core. He's a guy, he doesn't score too many points. 26, you can get 30 points. You got 30 points in year number 1. But kind of a guy in those 20s, quite similar to SL Lindell, just maybe a little bit better this year or this stage in his career. So I'd be willing to get somebody like Jacob Trouba on board. Obviously, for 2 years or 4 years, he'd want a lot less, but there's other teams competing. But $7 million for an 85 overall is crazy, dude. That's an absurd number. Oh my goodness, but I'm going to have to pay it. Or we can go with somebody, one of these 84 overalls, like Brady Shea, who gets similar numbers actually to, hang on, let me do by year. Sorry, I did the wrong button there. He's actually been kind of injured quite a bit here, but on pace, maybe in Arizona, on pace for like 30 points, maybe something along those lines. He's actually on pace for 41 points, but oh no, he's played both these years. So we had 19 points here last year. The year before that, he had 12 points. So he doesn't get too many points. More of a plus-minus guy. What about Michael Matheson? Let's see. He gets more points, like 20, mid-20s. Yeah, kind of a 20-point type of guy. In the NHL last year, he played some time in the AHL for some reason last year, which is ridiculous. But he had 25 points in 63 games, which is very good. And the year before that, he had 37 points in 82 games, and then 25. So I'm actually down to pick up Michael Matheson. I actually think he's better than Jacob Trouba. I know he doesn't have those X factors, but he's got a he's a good scorer, man. He can get on that power play and do some damage, it looks like. And he's got 4-star defense. I like it. I like the pick of Michael Matheson, and he's less expensive than Jacob Trouba. Trouba, I just don't want to pay $7 million to a second pairing defenseman, you know? Sue me. But I just really don't want to do that. So Matheson here, for 3 years for Matheson, I can get him at like 3 years at 5.75. It's $1.5 million less than what I would have to get Jacob Trouba for. That's pretty dang good, and that $1 million can go to our forward core, or something like that, where we can pick up maybe a Thomas Novak in the center position, 85 overall, like, you know, something like that. Maybe David Perron can come back, perhaps. Yeah, I like it. I definitely do like it, and I'm thinking David Perron might be coming back to the team also. I know this wasn't exactly the suggestion that Alex was making in the comments, but I do like the Michael Matheson pick, and he's more of an offensive guy, you know. Had 25 points in 63 games, had 37 the year before, 25 the year before that. He's a guy who can get 30 points, 25 points per year. So, and that's something that we need on this team a little bit. So I'm down to give Michael Matheson a 3-year deal at $5.725 million. $5.725 million for 3 years. What do you say to that, Michael Matheson? I'm going to offer you that contract. It might come back to bite me in the future, but I will offer you that. It means we have about $6 million to spend in free agency now. Actually, a little bit under 6 million. Let's call it $5 million to spend in free agency. So there's Thomas Novak here, who is kind of a 40 point guy. Yeah, about a 40 point guy, maybe 50 points if he's on the right team. Which is not bad. He's been minus 19 these past 2 years, but he was on San Jose, so bear that in mind. 54 penalty minutes is crazy. What's his discipline? Discipline's up there at 87, though. Good two-way forward with really good skating. He can be a really good penalty killer for us, maybe. He says he fits all the penalty kill lines as well, so that could be something to look at. Or we could go with what we know for sure, and that's David Perron. Now, he might drop to like an 83 overall, 82 overall, but he can still get it done, man. I know he can. He's 60-point guy for us last year, 60 points across the board, whereas Thomas Novak, more of a 50-40 point guy. Okay, it's interesting. So I was just playing around here with the years, and if I give Thomas Novak a 2-year deal, he actually only wants $3.725 million. So I would be down to give Thomas Novak 3 years at what he's asking for, maybe a little bit above. 3.8 million for 2 years for Thomas Novak would be pretty dang good in my opinion. And this way we don't really have to take a gamble on a guy like David Perron anyways, so I'm actually very down to do this. 3.8 million for 2 years for Thomas Novak and 85 overall. This seems like a steal to me, so let's do it. Maybe other teams might be more interested in him later on and offer him a contract or something like that. But for now, I think that's a steal of a deal. And then I just have to look for another depth kind of acquisition type guy, somebody who's like just around $1 million down here in the low 80s, like Sam Steele. Sam Steele's the perfect guy. 3.5 stars. He's got 77 on the faceoffs. He can take the draw if he has to. So I think Sam Steele's a perfect type of guy that I'm looking for. But is there anybody else? Just a quick look. Matthias Janmark's not bad either. Man, a lot of these guys down here want to get paid like $2 million. There we go. Jeff Carter with the Penguins, 41 years old. He can take the draw. He can shoot if he has to on that power play. He's a good fourth line center, and he wants no money at all. We'll give him league minimum there at $800K. So those are the signings that I'm going to make for now. That's a really good signing there. $800K for Jeff Carter at 81 overall. There's another one down here. Mason Appleton we could bring back too, actually. So that's kind of fun. I should have looked a little bit further. I would have brought Mason Appleton back instead. But we're going to simulate a few days here, see what these guys have to say. The big one obviously being Michael Matheson, see if he wants to come to the team. If not, we're going to have to make something else work because I kind of put all my eggs in that basket, to be honest, that somebody would be there in free agency. There really wasn't anything I was interested in. I'm not spending $7 million on Jacob Trouba. You guys can argue with me all you want about that, but I just don't think it's great for the future of this team. So Michael Matheson will have to do at 5 point whatever I put out there for him. So one more day, and then Matheson is on board. Thank you very much, Michael Matheson. I definitely appreciate that. Is Thomas Novak now? I guess we'll find out. I gave him a cheaper deal, obviously, so if somebody became interested in those years, we probably won't get him. But that's Jeff Carter. I thought that was Novak for a second. I got super excited. And, okay, Novak did not sign on there, but we do have depth in Jeff Carter, so I will take that. And then Thomas Novak goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Fair enough, Thomas. I understand your trepidation with that type of contract. Tried to play the system a little bit there, but sometimes you get burned. It is what it is, right, boys? It is what it is. But now we have $6 million, and look who's out here. See, sometimes, guys, there's blessings in disguise. Look who is out here for $5.65 million. This man simulates like a monster every year, no matter what. He always gets 70-plus points. So do I want to do this, or do I want to stick with David Perron, which we know works? But it's Malkin, bro. It's Malkin. We've never had Malkin in a series before. The Penguins let him go. He's a playmaker. He can play with Cole Perfetti. He can play with... Oh, man. And his demand obviously came down a little bit as well. There's also Blake Wheeler, who we signed on for a little bit. But, man, Malkin is very tempting. Very, very tempting. We have $6 million. We can get Malkin on board. Oh, dude, I want to do this. I'm doing it. Sue me, boys. I'm doing this. 1 year, $5.8 million. $5.85 million for Evgeny Malkin. Leaves us with about 300. No, I gotta make sure I get him. $5.9 million for Malkin. Leaves us with 200K to make moves over the offseason. Malkin, come on board, baby. Come on board. We can figure out the spots for everybody later. We're a bit of an older team anyway, so we don't have that many prospects coming up in the system. We just have like Chaz Lucius and guys like that, but that's fine. What do you say, Malkin? What do you say, baby? Come on, sign on, please. You know you want to come to Winnipeg, a winning team. You want to get another cup before you retire, baby. I know you do. I know you do. Come on, Malkin. And do we have big time free agent players? Yes, we do. Malkin is in Winnipeg. That is a huge player for us. Now let's go take a look at what these lines are going to be looking like here. For the forwards, we're going to have Connor, Ehlers, Perfetti. Then the second line is going to be Malkin, Scheifele, and Besser or Vilardi. That third line then gets to be, let's just say, Vilardi, Lucius, and Lowry. And then the fourth line could be Carter, Kupari, and Brad Lambert. We could have Fortier in there, Husko, Kastelik. There's a lot of guys we can throw in there. So I'm definitely liking that lineup for the forwards. For defense now, Morrissey and Werenski, Brodin and Matheson, and then Kniazev. And oh my goodness, I forgot about Ville Heinola. Ville Heinola, who we only have $1 million to... I jumped the gun, so somebody's got to leave this team. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I jumped the gun like that. I'm such a fool. How could I forget about Ville Heinola? Good lord. And boys, I honestly don't know what to do. If we go to all skaters, like I'm not trading away Kyle Connor or Werenski. Werenski, man, makes me so much money. Only for the next 2 years, but it's so much money. Okay, I'm not trading away these guys. I'm not trading away Ehlers, Scheifele, Morrissey, Brodin, Perfetti. Maybe I could trade Malkin. Maybe I could, but even still, like it makes no sense then. I'd have to trade him for nothing, you know, give him to a team for nothing. Oh man, that's tough. And then not trading Matheson, we just signed him. Besser is a great middle six guy for us. Vilardi, great middle six guy. Lowry's our captain, don't want to trade him. And he's a good third line, fourth line type guy. Lucius, a great young player, not trading him. And then everybody else is on like minimum deal. I could trade Jeff Carter, and then I only have 1.8 mil. And then I could also trade Nijov or Kniazev or however you say his name. But then I would only have 5 defensemen. So I've really done it to myself this time, eh, boys? I've really done it to myself this time. What do I do? I think, you know what? I think I'm just going to go to the off season and then I'm going to, or the preseason, and then I'm just going to ask for your guys' suggestions because that's a big blunder on my part. So maybe I just trade Malkin and we just trade him for some picks and then we trade the picks back to the team and we just pretend like none of it ever happened. But yeah, well, let's just send him to the next season here. Okay, we also have Declan Chisholm who decides to sign his qualifying offer, so maybe that's some more money there that we can move if we have to. But I am quite worried about Ville Heinola. Okay, luckily nobody's offered him a contract yet, so that's very good. But I can't believe I forgot about Ville Heinola, man. This whole episode was kind of based around getting new defensemen, you know, bringing new guys into the team and seeing stuff like that. But thankfully we got to our line screen so we can actually check out how these lines work, and Malkin's actually down to an 84 overall as well. So definitely that was not an ideal trade on or pickup for on my part there. Can we get +4s? No, we can't. Okay, so this is probably going to be what the lines look like. Something a little bit similar to this anyways. Chaz Lucius, though, is going to be on that third line. And my good lord, my PS5 is lagging so much for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm recording. I don't know. But this is crazy right now. Okay, so this is probably what the lines will look like. I'll see if... okay, Jeff Carter's there. Where is... Brad Lambert is an 80 overall. So good. Brad Lambert's going to come up to the team this year. I love to see that. Let me bring him up. All right, so we can throw Brad Lambert, but I don't know where to put him. Do we put him on the third line? And then we have Adam Lowry down here. We have Vilardi up the middle. That's a pretty good center core for sure, but it means that, but Brad Lambert has better face-off. So we'd go like this. Vilardi would play the right side. Lucius play the left side. They're all right-handed shots. I kind of like that, actually. We could go Vilardi up there if we want to even as well. Okay, so these are decent lines here. Defensively looking like... Oh, yeah, it looks like a disaster because of... because Chisholm is in here instead of... What's his name? Can you? No. What's his name? Why can't I... Ville Heinola, of course. So this would usually be Ville Heinola. Kniazev is up to an 81 overall now, which is kind of nice to see, actually. But these are what the lines would look like normally. We have Matheson, Brodin, Morrissey, Werenski, and then this should be... Heinola and Kniazev, But unfortunately, I forgot that cap space was a thing, so we have Malkin out here as our $5.9 million man. So let me know what we should do about that. It's a big blunder on my part. You know, if we say, okay, let's just trade away Malkin, I wouldn't want to trade him for picks because that completely defeats the purpose of making this somewhat realistic. You know, that's a big blunder on my part, but it's not something that I would do if I was an actual GM because I would have, you know, obviously cap analysts and things like that. It's never something that a real GM would do, make a bad decision like that. So I just wasn't thinking straight, didn't take the time to do it. But if you say, no, you got to play with your actions, then that's totally fair as well. It means that Ville Heinola is going to probably take a year off from our team. We're going to have to play with Declan Chisholm up here, maybe make some moves, things like that. If you say, well, you got to trade, I wouldn't want to trade away Malkin because we just signed him to a deal. So if you say you got to trade somebody you've had on longer, maybe that becomes Gabriel Velarde. It gives Adam Lambert or Brad Lambert more of a chance to prove himself in the lineup. You guys get to decide what my punishment is. If you guys let me off the hook and say, no, don't worry about it, you can just trade him for a pick, I will trade him for a seventh. I will also give them a seventh, and then I will just trade those sevenths right back so that it cancels out, and I just give them Malkin for free because I don't want to cheat the system in that way. Looking in our nets now as well, we have Hellebuck with Laurent Brossoit. Hellebuck has dropped. I believe he was a 91 overall last year. Now he is only an 87. That is horrible, horrible news. But let me take a look at these captains as well. Let's make sure Malkin has his number. He does. Okay, good. Okay, everybody is good. All the numbers are good, all that stuff. I'll take a look at the scouting on my own time. I won't bore you guys with that, but if you guys like this episode, feel free to give it a like, comment if you're new, and let me know what I should do about the Evgeny Malkin situation here. All right? If you want to let me off the hook free and just say I get to trade him, we get to keep Ville Heinola on the team, that's fine. If you say no, you got to live with your decisions, I got to trade somebody else, or keep Ville Heinola off the out for a year, I totally understand that as well. Put your votes down below in the comments, and we will see which one wins out at the end of the day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and peace out.